So we should be live now on both platforms. I am going to start going live on both Facebook and Instagram. So if you are here, hashtag live. If you are catching the replay, hashtag replay. And for the month of March, I am setting a goal for myself to go live at least 25 days in the month of March. So expect me to be live every day, if not at the same time every day. I will announce it in my email list. So if you are not in my email list, go ahead and click on my stand store and get signed up for the Beyond Grants free 5-day email course. That should put you in a list to get the email notifications of when I am going live. So first thing I'm going to do, let me go on Facebook and ensure that I tag the followers here so everybody can know that I am live. Instagram, I haven't been live on Instagram for a hot minute. So I'm sorry if you show up, you show up. If you don't show up, what can I say? But anyways, good morning, everybody. If you are on the West Coast, good morning. If you are on the East Coast or Central, then good afternoon and happy Saturday. So I'm gonna cut right to the chase because if you know me, you know I'm a very straight to the point person. Don't like to beat around the bush. But one thing's for sure, I am passionate about making sure that the people I meet have the education needed and necessary to be able to move forward. And the other thing that I will say about myself is that I do not want you to feel like you can't ask, you should be able to ask questions. And if I find that, hey, Janice, how are you doing? And if I find that I can't answer your questions on the live, I will reach out to you in the DMs. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. If you're live, hashtag live. If you're catching the replay, hashtag replay. So we're going to cut right to the chase. It's basically if grants were the magic solution that everybody that's starting a nonprofit thought it was, then why are so many nonprofits still struggling financially? Because I kid you not, if you go to a Facebook group and people are like consultants are asking, hey, what is your nonprofit struggling with the most right now? Like the majority of the answers will be financial. Like only the ones that are you are so welcome, Janice. Only the ones that have been in existence for a while, they will have other struggles, maybe retaining volunteers or whatever it is. But the majority of nonprofits that have not been in the, that have not mastered what it means to um, generate revenue in a consistent way where their nonprofit is actually sustainable, almost always have a problem financially, right? That's the harsh truth that most of them do not want to hear. That relying solely on grants, and I will throw this in there, donations. Relying solely on grants and donations can be very precarious. It can be a precarious strategy that can actually jeopardize your organization's sustainability. Now, the reason for that is because it puts you in a position where you're always one no or one rejection or one policy change away from having to change all your programs and services. Janice, you are so welcome. Yeah, generate revenue. It's like, I don't know why nonprofits think that's such a bad word. You are a business. The only thing with a nonprofit organization is that the nonprofit received this shiny thing that's called tax exempt status. But that doesn't mean you can't generate revenue. You're still a business. Like, think about hospitals. Hospitals are nonprofit organizations. Are they making money? Yes, they are. We're all sick and dying. So they are making them, not all hospitals, but a lot of them are nonprofit organizations. Think about a lot of you may not think that some companies are nonprofit organizations, but they are. Okay, so, but they're still generating revenue because they're thinking about the bottom line. Yes, they are helping people, but they're also thinking about other ways to ensure that their services are still in existence and it's sustainable. It's a business model that is sustainable. Because then Nonprofits, we are here to serve people, right? A lot of nonprofits, especially community-based organizations, have the heart and passion to serve individuals, but we're letting our mindset and limitations of how life is supposed to be like affect the way that we serve people. Now, it might not click right now, but I want you to think about, I have had conversations with people in the nonprofit industry and also in different realms of life, right? Where they are very adamant that this person is evil and that person is evil. Let me stop right now. So, okay, it's housing policies in Sacramento, right? There is this thing called NIMBY in Sacramento, not in my backyard, because then they've been trying to do policies and housing policies for the unhoused in Sacramento, and a lot of homeowners were against those. But perspective. I am a person that likes to be objective about what is being proposed, and I want you to start approaching the way you're advocating for your nonprofit in a way that makes sense. So when you approach partners, potential stakeholders, that you have their mindset in mind, you're keeping them in mind before you approach them. So the way you speak and the messaging that's coming out of your mouth makes sense. So the NIMBY whole conundrum. Now, I was talking to an individual, they were upset that homeowners did not want an unhoused camping site next to an elementary school. Mine, I'm a mother too. Okay. I'm a homeowner and I'm a mother. What potential downsides would exist if there was a camp next to an elementary school? As a mom, I could think of several downsides to having that, a camp next to an elementary school. But some people were only thinking to, listening to react, not listening to understand the other party. And I want you and your nonprofit to understand that everything that you want to do, you need to be 10 steps ahead and think about the solution. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? Think about the solution of how you can actually come up with solutions to serve your community that is not at the detriment of other human beings. Because if this camp was not good in this location, for me personally, I don't know what they determined, but okay, are there other solutions we can think about that's not next to an elementary school? What else can we propose? What else can we do to ensure that this site can come to existence to support the growing unhoused community that's in Sacramento? But a lot of people were just upset because to me, being upset for too long, it doesn't make sense because then you're upset and then what? What happens then? Like, we have to come up with a solution. So, like, grants are not there to save your nonprofit. All this to say that oftentimes we focus on one thing and not think about the next step. Okay. The next step is grants is not going to work. We got to find something else because this ain't going to do it. So, and not only that, grants can also be a double-edged sword. Like, whether you understand that or not, if you are a nonprofit organization that's been receiving grants, you've been so entrenched in the work that you're not thinking about the ways that the grants are limiting the way that you are working and the way that you are, functioning as a nonprofit organization. Now, I'll give some real life example. Hey, Gerda, some real life examples of this, because then for those who know, I co-founded a nonprofit with a partner, and now I'm no longer with that nonprofit, but at the time that we started receiving grants, I was the project director, I was HR, right? I was the grant writer, I was the reporting person, so I did a lot. And I happen to have hands-on experience with different aspects of running a nonprofit organization. Now, one thing that I will reiterate is that grants can be double-edged, because then when you think about it, when a nonprofit organization is applying for a grant, they actually tell you before you submit the budget what items are allowable expenses and what are not, right? So your organization has to have the budget you need to have. I always say, if you have a project that you're going to do, have a budget that's encompassing everything about the work that you're going to do. How many people are we going to need? right? What materials are we going to need for this project and overall administrative, operational, and whatever, right? What is it that we're going to need? And look at what the grant actually funds, because that's something that nonprofits do not do well enough. What does it fund? Oh, we're gonna pay rent with this grant. We're gonna do XYZ. We're gonna do XYZ only. In the fine print, it tells you you cannot pay rent. Okay. Or there is like you can only allocate 35% of your rent in this budget. So these are all things I need you to start thinking about when you're applying for grants. Grants are not there to save your nonprofit. They can be double-edged. While they provide essential funding for nonprofits, oftentimes they come with strings attached. And I'm not talking about the Walmart grants that are 5K, 1K, $500. No, this is just a drop in the bucket. I'm talking about big grants that can actually fund your nonprofit. And that's why I'm working with my clients to ensure that they're securing actual money, not change, not pocket change, because nonprofits, if you are not generating enough revenue to support people's salaries and people's incomes and projects that actually make an impact, not just serving 5 people, then what are you doing? Because I need you to start getting to a position where you are getting your nonprofit ready to actually do work that makes an actual impact, not fakes impact. Because you can say that you're helping people in the community, and then when I ask you for data, how many people did you help in 2025? 5. How many people live in the United States of America? More than 1 million. So what's 5? How many people exist in the audience that you serve? Think about your geographic location. You have to think about that too. How many people exist then? If there's 20,000 and you only serve 5 of them, that's a drop in the bucket. But you didn't do any work to increase on that number the next year. Because you're sitting there licking your wounds thinking, oh my God, I need more grants. Grants are not the only thing. Think about something else. And I made a post this morning that oftentimes when people, I don't remember verbatim because I wrote it last night, y'all. So oftentimes when people are stuck at something and only to find themselves in the same situation, it becomes a choice. Just like if you're leading a nonprofit organization, your nonprofit organization had the same problem in 2023. Oh, we don't have enough volunteers. What are we going to do? Who's going to help us, right? 2024, you come to me with the same problem. Oh, we don't have enough volunteers. Who's going to help us? Guess what? At this point, it's a choice. Stop complaining to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because then at this point, you're going to see my face. Because my face has no filter. Okay? As much as I try, if you're having a face-to-face conversation with me or on Zoom, listen, my eyes, the way my face works, I can't hide my true feelings all the time. I got to walk away. Okay, so if you come to me with the same problem in 2024, 2025, 2026, at one point, I'm going to tell you the truth about yourself. You lazy and you're not doing the work. And if nobody's telling you that, then shame on them. I'm going to tell you because then I will tell myself I'm lazy or not doing the work. I am my harshest critic. I am my harshest critic, and I will look myself in the mirror and tell me the truth about myself. So if you are leading a nonprofit organization, then you have to start thinking about how you can lead the people on your team to truly make an impact in the communities you are serving. Because you have to take ownership of self and understand that the way you approach the work and the way that you look at the work that you're doing and decide to move in your nonprofit organization is going to be so important. Now, back to grants. I got on attention here. I got excited talking about this, but anyways. So with strings attached and everything, so restrictive guidelines, there's like specific project scopes that exist with some grants, right? Time-consuming application. So all of this are things that you may experience when you're applying for grants. And not only that, there's a study by Nonprofit Pro. It actually takes a nonprofit an average of 2 years and 4 months to secure their first grant. So I see too many people that are so focused on applying for grants that they do not pay attention to the work that's actually necessary to secure these grants. Are you building community recognition? Are you building relationships with community? Are you building relationships with potential partners and stakeholders? Because there's another thing that people don't understand. Some funders, they may look at your application and deny it, reject it, and look at another application, reject it. They're like, oh my God, these two together would be bomb, right? I've heard of that before. I had a funder that rejected our grants, and I always ask for follow-up to find out why. That's why. I want to find out what was the problem with my application, right? That funder literally told me that the application was really strong and they liked the approach that we were going to have. But as one organization, they did not think that we had the capacity to do the work. But there was another organization that had a similar approach that they think both of us working together would be able to secure the grant, but we did not. We don't even know each other. Okay, so when I say that hi Danielle, how are you doing? So when I say that oftentimes nonprofits, they sit in a silo because they're thinking like, oh, this money is gonna go to this person. I'm not gonna get much. I'm only gonna get half. So what? You had zero before. Half of 300,000 is 150. How about you plan for that? Because you have to be willing to accept things that you didn't have before and be grateful for it. You didn't have $150,000 2 days ago. Why is it any different? Because you're working with somebody else. Sometimes we're too focused on not wanting to work with other people and share. You didn't have nothing in the first place. So what are you afraid to share here? $0? So in the first two, in the first 2 to 5 years, I recommend if your nonprofit has never received a grant, I kid you not, you better get serious about building community recognition, going to outreach events, like posting on your social media and making sure your presence is known and felt. Because that's going to serve you in the long run. And if you're not able to put your programs in full motion, then start having digital education about your program. And the way you do that, you can do that online. Facebook, you ain't got to pay a dime. Do it on Facebook. Make some posts, educate people about what you do. Study entrepreneurs. Like, you might not think you're an entrepreneur. Your nonprofit is. It's a business. Okay? Study, like, do the work. Because then you might go study it. I wrote something in my notebook earlier. Wait, where's my notebook? I was reading something and something came to my mind. I wrote it down. It'll probably be a post, right? So some people will never achieve their dreams, no matter how many accolades or certifications they collect, because they do not take actions that actually matter. Same applies with nonprofits. Some nonprofits will never do a thing, really have any impact because they do not take actions that actually matter. Okay? Because more people are afraid of failing and afraid of being laughed at because they don't want to feel like Bobo the Clown. Okay? So I'm gonna need you to take that to heart like me. Listen, I took scissors and chopped my weave off. Thank God it was a weave. Okay, it wasn't my hair. And chopped it off. I was like, I need a new look and chopped it off 2 days ago. Am I gonna cry about it? No, it looks good, but I took a risk. I don't care if who laughs at me, who doesn't like it. That ain't my problem. I'm just gonna do it because I knew something needed to change. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to just do it. If you're not sure how to do it, get help. There's nothing wrong with that. Get help. If you've never been in this situation and you know somebody can help you, take a leap. If you don't, how are you ever going to know? How are you going to know? Okay. So that's one thing about this that I want to bring. Now, recent events also highlight the volatility of grant funding. Now, I know some people that's a sensitive topic for them, but think about how the Trump administration is approaching like certain programs, especially DEI and different things. And there's like the potential freeze on on housing, certain housing things, and also DEI, it's going to impact a lot of nonprofit organizations that depend on grant funding, right? It's going to have significant funding cuts that are going to impact nonprofit organization. It may cause nonprofits to lay off a lot of staff and having to suspend critical services. Now, think about that. Think about that. Now, when I say nonprofits have to diversify their revenue, there's a reason I talk about that. And I know when I was with that other nonprofit, that's one thing I often told. Hey, Brendan, I often told the executive director, we have to diversify because we weren't looking at other sources of funding. And every time we didn't get a grant, or that was our stress level went up. And that's not a good problem to have. Okay. So, how do you diversify your funding? You have to look at the structure of your organization, what you currently have, what capacity you currently have, what you can do. And sometimes it can be a digital product. Can be a digital product. It can be a contract you explore with an organization or a business that may be needing the services that you have. Because then I'm looking at some boards, board of directors, they have like some smart people on there, right? But smart people on there doesn't mean you do anything. I've met some smart people that haven't done a thing in their lives. All right. So just because you have the certifications and the degrees does not mean you are using them to your full potential because you are too afraid of failure, success, or being judged. So if you have a board and people on them are qualified, see what services or how you can generate revenue with the support of your board if it's a working board and that's all you have. Like, and make sure people are kept accountable. Like sometimes I see people afraid of telling their board members what it is. Like, hey, I need you to do this work. If you don't do this work, we're going to have to go back to the guidelines or whatever, like board documents we have, and we're going to figure out whether we vote you out or you leave. Sometimes you have to come as it is. Because then if you're not going to support the work this organization is doing, you got to go. Because there's a mission that we have to fulfill. And if you're not willing to help us fulfill it, you got to go. And sometimes as a leader, you have to be able to make quick decisions. And I know there's a lot of bureaucracy with nonprofits because then you are not the only leader in a nonprofit. So make sure the documents, if you don't have a nonprofit yet, if you're starting documentation, like you're creating all these governance documentation, make sure they are ironclad, that you're very detailed about the accountability process, okay? Because then that can be a huge problem. Now, depending on grants, we know it can create a cycle of uncertainty and making sure and it makes your nonprofit kind of like on the edge all the time. Yeah, we need this grant, we need this grant, we need this grant. You don't want that. So that's why like I always talk about like you need to plan long term and you need to do that because that's what helps with growth and sustainability. Um, Earlier, I lost my train of thought when I was talking about the expertise of board members. Think about what they do. If you have financial experts on there, see if they can donate an hour of their time to do a workshop at a church or whatnot, or in a local business and charge a fee to whomever wants to attend. You have to be creative. Just sitting down on your two thumbs don't work anymore because we are living in a time where these things that's not going to work. Or see if they're willing to record a very powerful workshop that teaches a lot and sell it. 47 bucks. Sell it, market it, do whatever you want. Like maybe it's something that is for small businesses and they teach it virtually and you put it, house it on whatever it is. Me, I use Stan Store, house it wherever you want. Make sure at the bottom, like contact your attorney or whomever and see if you can do that. But make sure you have a disclaimer that any of the proceeds will go towards the nonprofit organization. You can sell stuff. I don't know why nonprofits don't know that. You sell like t-shirts and stuff at events. You can sell products, but make sure they align with your mission to avoid problems, okay? And talk to your attorney. I'm not an attorney. Talk to your attorney. Don't ask me no questions about like the compliance and legality. Go talk to your attorney, okay? Now, you want to also break free from the cycle of grants, depending on grants. So we've been talking about diversifying revenue streams. So I'm going to be a little bit more specific on what that looks like. You have things like earned income. So products and services, I've been talking about those that relate to your mission to generate income. So if your mission, part of it is to empower the community, financial literacy is a big thing. Financial literacy, and think of the different aspects or the holistic point of view of how you empower certain communities, and think of products they need, identify the gaps and create products and services to help them do that. So for example, a nonprofit art studio could offer paid classes to the public. You heard what I said, to the public, not your audience, to the public. Paid classes. Just do that. Or maybe it's a pop-up class. People can pay for it. Maybe you do a paint and sip. It's a nonprofit organization, but people gotta pay. Okay? Because then, especially if you are an art-centered nonprofit organization. Individual donations, all of us know a lot about that, right? So you have to cultivate a base of regular donors. And in 2023, individual giving actually accounted for 67% of total charitable contributions, right? Amounting to about $374.4 billion. That was sourced from National Philanthropic Trust. So a lot of people saying no one has money. Money is there. You just have a very narrow vision of what money is, and it's blocking your ability to tap into it. So I'm going to need you to stop thinking about who has money, get out of their pockets. That's none of your business. Get out of people's pockets, because donors are out there. People want to support the mission. People want to feel like they're helping other people. So get out of people's pockets and start having conversations, start cultivating a base of regular donors, like start a recurring giving program for people that give to your organization, okay? Now, the next thing that you can explore, it's called corporate sponsorships. Corporate sponsorships, it's when you're able to partner with businesses that actually align with your mission for sponsorships or matching gift programs. So let's say you got to do the research on that too. And speaking of that, that is something that is covered in the nonprofit funding quick fix or the nonprofit revenue expansion blueprint, which I'm going to put the links after because I can't focus on two things at once. I'll put the link for those two products. I give you email templates, DM templates, social media templates to use to start working on these things. There is no excuse. I leave no room for excuses, because why? Why are we here? Okay. Why are we having the same problems in 2025? Okay. So start partnering with businesses that align with your mission. And that's why conversations are important, because you need to start finding out which businesses and corporations actually support the work that you're doing or have similar missions, because a lot of them, they actually have corporate social responsibility programs, like the bigger corporations, where that's their program to help nonprofits do work they don't have the time to do. So some of them are looking to give money out. So you might as well ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay? Oftentimes people are afraid of asking because they're afraid of being rejected. But if you don't ask, you get rejected anyway because you didn't ask. So get a copy of those two digital products. Those, you have the templates, you can get to work. And if you don't do the work, you won't get results. Because then doing the work one day does not guarantee results. You're gonna have to do it. So, actually, let me do it now because I know, you know what, the way my brain has been working lately, I know I'm gonna forget. Let me find the link for y'all and put it in the comments. But it's the nonprofit funding quick fix and the nonprofit revenue expansion blueprint. Both of these products contain templates to help you with reaching out, the outreach to these sponsors and these businesses. So definitely don't sleep on that. Oh my God, why is my computer doing this? But okay, I'm gonna come back and just talk about this because my computer is tripping right now. All right. So the other thing I want you to look into is building strong community relationships. So when we think about moving away from solely depending on grants, the community relationship is going to make a huge difference for your organization, where when you have an ask now, people are going to have your back, right? So you're going to need to start engaging with local organizations, attending community events. That's a big one. So you need to start looking at what community events are happening in your area, contact the host or the organizer and see if your nonprofit organization can get a table. Because a lot of them do not charge a nonprofit organization to have a table. Some of them do. Some of them do. And when I was leading the outreach for the nonprofit I was working at, we didn't go anywhere we had to pay. And there were a lot of free ones. So go to the free events, okay? Go to the free events. Make sure that you are have something. If you do not have a table, a plastic table and a tablecloth, get yourself one and put it in your garage. That's what I did. Okay? Put it in my garage. I had a plastic table from Walmart and Target. I had two chairs, two plastic chairs, foldable chairs. I had a white tablecloth, a rectangular tablecloth. I ordered one from Vistaprint with our logo on it and our tagline. But when we first started and we did not have the money to do that, I actually got a white tablecloth from wherever I got it. And then there's something they call transfer paper, right? Where I printed our logo on transfer paper and ironed it on the white tablecloth. Y'all, I saw pictures of that and nobody could tell me nothing because the logo was on there. I printed flyers and in my home printer, cut them up, put it on the table. Nobody could tell me nothing because I was doing the work and being in the community. Okay. I was collaborating with other nonprofit organizations because that was the work. So get started no matter how small. Sometimes you just have to start. If you don't start, nothing's going to happen for you. And remember, I said I can do two things I want: nonprofit funding, quick fix. So that's me putting the link for the, oh no, I didn't even do that. Y'all, shame on me. Like, I used to multitask. I can't do it no more. I'm at a point in my life where I can't multitask. But okay, the nonprofit funding quick fix is in the chat. I'm gonna put the expansion blueprint afterwards. So build strong community relationships. That's why it's so important to do that, is because you want people to have your back when you start doing things. And I will give you an example of how that helped that nonprofit organization that I was in, like, tremendously. Just being able to build strong community relationships. I even ended up getting shirts with our logo. And we had volunteers that went door to door, but in teams, and just shared education about certain things and provided information about the organization. There was a point in 2023, December 2023, I received several emails from people saying they wanted to volunteer for us to add them to a list. You see the power of just being in the community, because then, or even going to events where people were saying, oh, we know who you are. We see you everywhere. Oh, yeah. Do you work with XYZ? Because we made it a priority to be in the community and prioritize outreach. It is not, it's not because I have nothing to do this morning that I'm telling you focus on building community relationships. those will make a huge difference in your nonprofit organization, whether you like it or not. So I'm gonna need you to like focus on that, get what you need, and start making a calendar where you're gonna be. And the goal for me, at least twice a month, we had to be on them streets at an event, tabling. Somebody had to be on the doors, knocking. Somebody had to be on the phone banking. Outreach, don't play with that. It makes a huge difference because then when you start building recognition, then you're going to get more doors opening for you. And the other thing I want you to start working on is investing in your fundraising infrastructure. Do you have a way to manage donors? Do you have a donor management system? If you do not have one, just get a spreadsheet for Pete's sake. Just put donor first name, donor last name, amount, whatever it is, track the donations and manage the relationships effectively. Like Excel, like Google Excel sheets or whatever, you can actually have drop downs and stuff so you don't have to type something multiple times. Just create one. If you don't know how to create one, learn. Like the amount of skills I've developed over the last 6 years by just learning is insane. Did I know how to manage projects? No, I did not. Did I know how to manage people? Heck no, I did not. And do I like it? No, I do not. But I had to learn. And learning skills because you're actually doing the work emphasizes those skills so you can be better at it. So yeah, your fundraising infrastructure, donor management system, track your contributions, manage your relationship. Because the other thing that I made sure that we had was a spreadsheet with the name of the people that we were meeting, the stakeholders. I called it a community stakeholder partnership list, right? So the names, address, phone number, email of the person, and then a note column of who reached out, where the person was met. Because why that's important is if, let's say you have a team member, John quit, and then you hire Rachel 2 months later, Rachel can look at that list and know exactly what John did. That's why that's important. Now, I know I also talk about SOPs. That's why, okay? Because you need to make sure that your organization is building systems to be able to replicate the work that it's doing and continue the work that it's doing and become sustainable long term. Now, the next thing, start working on a compelling narrative, just like be able to articulate your mission and the impact that you do in a way that makes sense. Because sometimes I hear people that tell me their mission and I look at them like, cool, what that mean, right? Because then it just doesn't make sense. So you need to make sure your narrative is compelling enough to get the attention of the person that you're speaking to, and donors can understand what you're talking about, and they're more likely to contribute when they understand the tangible difference that their support is going to make. Because a lot of people want to feel that their contribution is going to make a difference. So you need to have a narrative that your elevator pitch needs to be ready on the tip of your tongue. Okay. And the last thing I want you to do is to start implementing recurring giving programs. You want to encourage your donors to set up monthly contributions and providing a steady and predictable income stream for your nonprofit organization. And you also have to build donor relationships to get them to want to give on a recurring basis. Even if it's $20 per month, at least you can track, okay, we have 10 people donating $20 per month, 10 times 20. That's 200. I believe my brain's not working, but y'all don't judge me right now. Okay, so at least you know like what the income will be based on these 10 donors, and then you can figure out, okay, what else do we need? What else do we need to establish to make sure that we are getting this revenue stream going? So please, again, if you are looking for ways to craft these things and to do these things, get a copy of the nonprofit funding quick fix or the nonprofit revenue expansion blueprint. You can actually get both because the quick fix is $47 because it's a mini course, and the revenue expansion blueprint is $27, but you can get both for $55. And there's only 1 week before the prices go up because these were released 4 weeks ago, and this is the beta stage. So definitely get your copy right now and let me know how I can help you. Because one thing that I know for sure is like by adopting the strategies that I talked about here today and what's included in these, the quick fix, the mini course, and the blueprint, you can actually create a resilient financial foundation for your nonprofit that's not only relying on the uncertain world of grants, because that's what it is right now. Grants are not a certain thing. And I need people to stop approaching grants like it's the only thing that can fund your nonprofit. It is not. You are actually running a business and you can actually generate revenue in other ways beyond grants and donations. So explore those. So definitely get a copy of those. And if you would like more support and more strategy for your nonprofit organization for the month of March, which it's gonna be a busy month, but it's the last month of the first quarter of the year. And we're amping it up for everybody. And I already said I am determined to help 100 nonprofit organizations grow sustainably and make more of an impact. So definitely book a strategy session with me. It is $597. And I am going to guide you through developing a strategy in the rest of the year to increase your impact. And that is the best way to start working with me if I'm not on retainer, because we develop an action plan together that you can implement and go, just go. Because that's the thing, you have to take action. Because then if you're not taking action, you're just staying stagnant and staying stuck. And like I said, that is a choice. So anyways, that is all I have for today. I said it was going to be short, but it wasn't. So if you have any question, drop that in the chat. And Janice, if you're still here, I would love to know what has happened to you before, because I saw that you dropped that because I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm not wearing my glasses, Janice. So definitely share that with me if you're still here. I'd love to be able to converse with you while live. And yeah. Diversified revenue, grants ain't the only thing, people. And drop questions in the comments. I'm gonna stay as long as I see questions coming, because then I want to make sure this beautiful Saturday, March 1st, I'm answering questions if I can. So drop any questions that you have in the chat. I'll be here and talking a little bit. And also, if you want to be notified of any master classes or any new products or what's going on with Savage Coaching and Consulting, definitely go click the link in my bio and sign up for the free 5-day Beyond Grants email course. And the one thing I will say about this course is it does require you to actually take action. Because then I kid you not, out of the 70 people that have registered for this course, I think one or two have done the work. Because then I asked you to respond to the email and do the work and send me your answer. So you have to do the work. And that's the thing with free resources, not a lot of people follow through. So definitely go and sign up for the free email course. You also have the nonprofit funding quick fix that I put the link in the comments. And while I'm here, before I forget, I'm going to put the link for the nonprofit revenue expansion blueprint in the comments as well. If you're watching on Facebook, that's where you're getting in the comments. If you're on Instagram, you're not going to get the link in the comments. Um, all right, so I put the nonprofit revenue expansion blueprint in the comments as well, and I'm going to put the link for you to get both in the comments as well. Okay. All right, so I don't see any questions come up, but if you have any, feel free to reach out to me in the DMs or comment your questions. I will come back and answer. I got no shame in doing that, and I will answer your questions. It may take me a while if I'm busy, but I am going to answer, like, best and believe that. But anyways, y'all, It was a pleasure being here and thank you for joining me live. I am looking forward to seeing you book your next strategy session. Oh, see Christine, great question. Christine, which question are we referring to here? I swear Facebook is delayed, but it's okay. Yeah, because every time I say something, it doesn't come up until later, but that's cool. Yeah, so definitely let me know what your questions are in the comments. I will come back and answer them. But I really want everybody to get to work, take action, and not let fear dictate how you lead. Because it's not a good look and it's not good for you. It's not good for the people that you're serving. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing day and see you tomorrow. And like I said, in March, expect me to go live almost every day. I have some days that look a little bit insane. So expect me to go live every day in March. If you want to know when I'm going live, join my email list so you can get notified. But anyways, have a good one, y'all. Bye.